Good afternoon. I'm Mike Schultz. I'm the chief of our Interagency International Services Division here within Military Programs, here located at headquarters USACE here in the Washington, D.C. area. My office is responsible for all interagency international relationships that the Corps of Engineers has and provides capacity and capability across the Corps of Engineers to service the needs of those interagency international partners that we service here in USACE. And we represent the entire spectrum of the USACE enterprise, consisting of the full capabilities and capacity across military programs, civil works, and of course our research and development component of USACE. I really appreciate the opportunity today to briefly speak about just a few of our partnerships in the interagency international community. These partnerships represent not only the USACE service provider partnerships, but I'm also going to address a few of our peer partnerships that we have, where we work together typically with a design and construction agent focus in those partnerships to learn from each other and develop innovative solutions to meet our collective goals, to further the advance of our technical capabilities, delivery methods in this unique role for both our DoD and non-DoD stakeholders that we service out there. Today, an innovation focus is really woven into all of our partnerships. For instance, we work together on innovation-focused construction methodologies, acquisition innovations, innovation from a service and delivery perspective, to include utilizing our partners here within USACE in our R&D capabilities and solutions in new ways as well. These continued relationships are very important to us and demonstrate our commitment as a trusted partner to all of those that we serve here today. As I mentioned earlier, an IIS community of practice represents all the capabilities and capacities of the Corps of Engineers, be it civil, military, R&D, or using specific authorities. We export and utilizing specific authorities. We export these capabilities of the Corps of Engineers to support our interagency and international and other non-DoD partners. Our portfolio is typically around $1 billion annually. However, over the last few years, the influx of large programs like the Southwest Border support and Department of Veterans Affairs program support, it has grown dramatically over the last year, where we've almost plateaued to well over $9 billion in an annual effort. This year, we have over 1,700 active IIS projects worldwide, and some examples of our major stakeholders, of our varied stakeholders, are shown on this, are identified here. And those include Department of Homeland Security, Health and Human Services, Department of Veterans Affairs, Kingdom of Saudi Arabia is a good example, New York City Department of Transportation, NASA, U.S. Department of Agriculture, and the Department of Treasury, just to name a few. Within IIS, we also have a responsibility for liaison officers and regional planners, which we have embedded in all of our combatant commands and some service component commands as well. Our USACE divisions are aligned with those specific combatant commands, and those are the North Atlantic Division, who has responsibility for AFRICOM and EUCOM, Transatlantic Division, who is aligned with CENTCOM, ARCENT, and SOCOM, Northwest Division aligned with NORTHCOM, and our South Atlantic Division, whose alignment with SOUTHCOM, and of course our Pacific Ocean Division, who is aligned with INDOPACOM and US FK. Our role is in IIS is to deliver services to those combatant commands, other federal agencies, state and local governments, tribal nations, international organizations, foreign governments, and to integrate the capabilities and expertise across our organization to deliver scalable solutions both at home and abroad, enabling our partners to really focus on their primary mission and goals and objectives, and allow USACE to maintain our core competencies at the same time. You can also see here some of our unique authorities. that allow us to operate both internationally and domestically. Typically, most of our work is performed under the Economy Act, but you see some unique authorities there that allow us to reach other capacity and capabilities for our stakeholders out there. Finally, on this slide, I'd like to bring your attention to the bottom lower right graphic on this chart. We use this to illustrate how we think about our role in national security strategy and the international community at large. We think of three lines of effort being defense, diplomacy, and development in support of our international partners. Within USACE, we have capabilities that support all three of these efforts, and somewhere in between is that sweet spot and nexus of USACE support and core capacities that we draw on a daily basis. A good example of this is how we have civil works and disaster response capabilities and capacities that we often called upon to export those efforts by our COCOM brethren out there to train and support our international partners to sort of help themselves in the natural disaster responsibilities within their own borders. Having someone in a shirt and tie is a low threat engagement, providing not only goodwill, but also builds partner nation capacity and capabilities. Call it response to near peer threats, capacity building, and counter Chinese influence. No matter what you call it, USACE continues to play a pretty key and important role as we look internationally. Let's focus now on some specific partnership examples. The one we're depicted here on the slide, of course, is with the Department of State and the Bureau of Overseas Building Operations. Our partnership with this particular stakeholder is a peer relationship. However, we have also provided project and technical support services to them as well. They are a very competent design and construction agent in their own right. Their mission is to provide safe and secure, functional and resilient facilities that represent the U.S. government to the host nation and support Department of State's achievement of U.S. foreign policy objectives abroad. These facilities represent American values and the best in American architecture, design, engineering, technology, sustainability, art, culture, and construction execution as they deliver these facilities worldwide. USACE has a peer-based collaborative relationship with OBO, however, with one very distinct difference between us. OBO design, construction, operates their facilities through the full life cycle of building portfolio and occupancy, whereas USACE ownership and operations is primarily within our civil works program and the infrastructure that supports it. And the vast majority of USACE construction projects are basically executed and delivered and turned over to a partner agency upon completion, and then they own and operate those facilities. However, working together with USACE and OBO has utilized and adopted some innovative USACE practices, such as our ProjNet and Dr. Check systems out there that we utilize in our own business processes, and EM 385 safety procedures and practices that they have adopted and mirror in their delivery processes. And of course, a builder system is a good example to help with the facilities assessment and management of facilities across their portfolio. NAFEC is another good example, and our partnership with NAFEC is also a peer relationship. However, it differs slightly in that we both have been tasked by DoD as the design and construction agents, and each is responsible for a certain portion of the military execution effort that's scattered across the globe. Because of the relationship, NAFEC services some Army installations given their location across the globe, and we in turn service some Navy facilities given our locations, geographic locations across the globe. They also are a very competent design and construction agent. We have a long-standing collaborative relationship with them in many different areas as we both execute our missions as a design and construction agent. The Navy Chief Engineer is the final technical authority for the Navy and provides the Naval Facilities Engineering Command with leadership, expertise, management, and specialized services for development and implementation of engineering concepts, practices, programs, and advanced technologies for the improvement of design, construction, and facilities management activities that they're responsible for. As an example, we're working with NAVFAC on the use of some innovative acquisition approaches and to better prepare the department in case of contingencies by pursuing a blended contingency response framework. And here's where we're both sharing lessons learned and learning from each other and trying to develop a common approach as we look at contingency operations across the globe. Department of Health and Human Services is the next organization I'd like to talk to briefly. Now I want to discuss one of our service provider in the area of a service provider relationship. Health and Human Services represents that part of our partnership. Prior to 2019, our relationship with Health and Human Services was very limited. Based on COVID pandemic response efforts, we were thrust into a relationship which has turned out to be very large and much broader than anyone could have imagined before then. Since 2019, we began with providing innovative solutions for alternate care facilities. We've also been asked to assist HHS with the vaccine production industrial base expansion that they've undertaken, and vaccine clinical trial support that's part of their delivery, and support to an unaccompanied minor mission that they have responsibility for. I'd like to talk each one of those in a little bit of detail as we move on here. Alternate care facilities on the far left there, USACE received 12 FEMA mission assignments, totaling approximately a little over $1 billion that involved delivering alternate care facilities across 50 states and 5 different territories. During the response, we had more than 15,000 personnel, USACE personnel, engaged across the enterprise in delivering this effort. USACE emergency response operations centers were activated in 44 different locations, and our USACE districts formed the engineering, planning, and assessment teams in anticipation of receiving state requests for these alternate care facility support across USACE and across CONUS. USACE completed over 1,150 different site assessments that involved the expansion of well over 15,000 additional bed spaces. We put in place 37 different contract activities in varying states, and that was an effort that involved either delivery in the period of either 5 days to up to 2 weeks, and that would identified arena activities converted to healthcare facilities and hotel and dorm conversions to hotel facilities, where most of that was focused on. USACE awarded these contracts for 3 alternate care facilities. Some examples of that were some alternate care facilities in the New York State University, Stony Brook area, the sunny old Westboro and Westchester Community Center, and expanded alternate care facilities in New York, but which gave them an expanded capability of over 6,000 beds beyond just their normal hospital situation. In California is another good example where we completed assessments of 8 state selected facilities to develop large-scale supplemental hospital space as the state worked to expand existing hospital capacity by up to 50,000 beds in that state. In Illinois, we award contracts to increase the capacity there of well over 2,500 beds for alternate care facilities scattered across several locations in the state. And additionally, our ERDIC team, along with our Huntsville Engineering Center, developed and fielded some self-contained mobile COVID positive response units that allowed us to put quickly in place bed space in some mobile capabilities versus existing facility conversion. As we look at the industrial base expansion effort that we've been involved in, USACE has completed over 60 site inspections, 20 key leader engagements with pharmaceutical company CEOs and their senior staffs and program managers, and provided over 50 quality assurance checks at 14 different manufacturing facilities scattered across the continental United States. The impact in leveraging USACE competencies across what was known as Operation Warp Speed resulted in finding solutions to manufacturing capacity expansion issues that those companies were encountering, equipment supply delays, helping them ferret and sort through those, funding issues, and local permitting action resolutions that we were able to help with our teams on the ground. This led to reducing multiple manufacturing schedules by months, while it drastically increased the COVID-19 vaccine throughput that the government was seeking through these companies. This ensured the successful manufacture of the initial 300 million doses of vaccines that we're all saw delivered, and that expansion continues as we continue to have discussions with manufacturers and organizations as they look to continue to increase the industry base out there to meet the worldwide demand of vaccines. As we look at clinical trial support, as they were working through the initial trials of the vaccines out there, USACE also supported HHS therapeutics efforts out there in establishing testing sites for the vaccine clinical trials that were going on early. We completed over 50 different site inspections and corresponded with multiple states and local governments in expediting the permitting efforts to put these temporary sites in place. USACE greatly contributed to vendors overcoming some obstacles and critical milestones and timely establishment of over 59 different testing sites throughout the continental United States. This had a direct impact on expediting FDA's approval of the COVID-19 vaccines that we saw come to conclusion here. The unaccompanied minors mission that HHS undertook here recently, USACE supported their sheltering operations in several DOD locations, Fort Bliss, Texas, and facilities at Joint Base San Antonio and Lackland, Texas, as they look to expand housing and operational facilities for this particular mission that they had as well. For the Department of Homeland Security, like now to our support of this agency and more importantly the Customs and Border Protection component of this department, we've supported Customs and Border Protection on the southwest border ever since about 2004, in providing construction and project management support for their border security infrastructure projects along both our northern and southern borders. The program increased in size and complexity significantly during the Trump administration, growing not only to provide border barrier under the DHS regular appropriations process and program, but also under the realignment of DoD appropriations to help support the increased requirement for the border wall. The USACE team exceeded the administration's goal of 450 miles of border fence by December 2020. It was a significant undertaking, both with our industry partners and our teams on the ground out there. And since the new administration's presidential proclamation of 20 January 2021, the barrier construction has since been suspended, and we're now working through termination processes for that effort. Construction is on an exception basis only while the mission requirements are being reevaluated by DHS and Customs and Border Protection. And we continue to support the CBP Office of Facilities and Asset Management with training and operational facilities for the agents, as well as upgrades to points of entry along both borders as we look at their operations and maintenance and revitalization program that's focused on those facilities. Some great examples of innovations provided to this particular stakeholder include ERDIC's use of tunnel detection technology to support CBP, as well as their testing and evaluation of the border barrier solutions that were developed early in the process that were provided by Customs and Border Protection vendors, and then the implementation of cathodic protection solutions for certain aspects of the border system that are in place and been added to that whole system. Shifting gears here slightly, our USACE provides support to the Department of State's Foreign Military Sales Program as an active implementing agency for DSCA. It is managed by the Defense Security Cooperations Agency overall, and USACE is providing technical services for the delivery of a wide range of facilities, from bed down and headquarters complexes to vehicle maintenance, language labs, just the list of few, and you can see here. There's a request from host nations and helps develop those letters of offer and acceptance agreements for our formal engagement and project execution for the services and facilities that those nations require. Partner innovation endeavors that we've undertaken, and with this particular portion of our portfolio, geospatial systems integration, with Canada and the Army Geospatial Center Laboratory of the Corps of Engineers has provided support to the command and control, communications, computer intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance systems for operational concept development of virtual environment integration for execution of an experimental advanced analytics and optimization of experimentation infrastructure, and providing some scientific and management support as well. ERDIC, our Engineering and Research Development Center, also provides some innovations to the Egyptian Department of Defense involved in tunnel detection and exploration systems for that particular country. And ERDIC as well has provided support to the Swedish Defense Material Administration for rapid runway repair systems and options for them. They pulled upon the expertise realized through our researchers at our Geotechnical and Structures Laboratory as part of ERDIC's overall laboratory structure and modernizing airfield damage repair program, chiefly looking at foldable fiberglass mats and fiber reinforced polymer and accessory tools to be able to deliver that capability. USACE support for our national security assistance has made contributions for improving construction program integration and delivery in the areas of program management for these stakeholders, policy and program planning and acquisition enhancements as well. USACE heightened program management execution with our new country estimate books, enabling districts to provide reliable security assistance project estimates early on in the project development stages. And USACE has collaborated with our geographic combatant command efforts out there for planning innovations, initiating early project planning to reduce the delays by increasing communication and coordination with all country and U.S. stakeholders. And this was critical in creating a pathway for USACE to conduct early site assessments in this area and provide good, solid project estimates before the projects were really developed completely and then notified to Congress. With that, I would like to thank you all for the opportunity today to briefly discuss how an innovation focus is woven into all of our existing partnerships, working together on innovation-focused construction methodologies, looking at acquisition innovations that we can all apply, and innovations from a service and delivery perspective, utilizing all the capabilities across our military and civil capacities that we have, and utilizing our R&D capacity and solutions in some new and different ways as well. These continued relationships are very important to us and demonstrate our commitment to mission success as a trusted partner with these stakeholders that you see just a smattering of sampling of that we've identified today across our interagency and our international community. Thank you very much for this opportunity to talk to you all today. Thank you.